Take me to work. All right. So, got some news on the flag football update. So, they put us in the brackets. They did put us in the 6th and 7th grade bracket, thank goodness. But the first game is against the first seed team that is undefeated. And that's the other team from our town that has, I think there's 5 8th graders on the team. So, this is the big hubbub. This is basically the championship game in the first round of the playoffs. So, it should be pretty interesting, to say the least. You know, one thing I need to do as the coach is make sure that the kids don't overthink things, and that they don't get anxious about this. It's just another game. We are better. I know we're better than this team. Player 1 through 8 or 9, we are better. They've got 14 kids, I think, or 15 kids on the team. They've got a lot of younger kids that probably won't see the game. But their top 4 is our biggest concern. And I think our top 4 is better than their top 4. And I know our next, 5 through 7, we're better. So, should be interesting. It's going to be a lot of hype behind it. Like I said, there's 2 weeks before the game, week and a half now before the game. So we'll have 3 practices to get ready for it. See who shows up to practice. We haven't had a whole huge amount of people showing up to practice, but maybe this week, since the other distractions like track and other sports are over, maybe we'll get more people out. But I'm not even all that concerned with the practice. I mean, I was very encouraged. We had a game last Sunday. Very encouraged how we played. We played the number 1 8th grade team. I think we lost by 3 touchdowns, which doesn't seem that great, but the fact is that we scored 5 touchdowns against them, and they scored 8. So it was a shootout. They got up on us a couple touchdowns, and then, we did have some defensive stops in the second half, which was nice. They've got a quarterback that can throw the dang ball, and they've got a receiver who, anything near this kid, he just grabs it. He's like a black hole. And, he even caught a pass that deflected off of one of their own players, and he was behind him and caught the pass. I'm like, are you kidding me? The kid, even when they're not throwing to the kid, he's catching passes. But just excellent hands. Anything anywhere close to that kid, he was grabbing it. And they just didn't miss. They didn't drop balls. They didn't do anything. So it's probably one of the biggest differences I'm seeing between 6th and 7th grade is there's, the kids just, they'll have a couple of good kids and they don't make mistakes. So, going into this game, they're probably going to have the confidence because they're undefeated. But like I said, I saw the competition of who they were playing, and thinking about our record, we were 2-4 against the 8th graders. We won the first 2 games and then lost 4 games. But the 3rd game, we played the number 1 seed. They've only lost 1 game all season. And then we played the team that beat that team the next game. And then we played a team that we should have beat, but we just came out super flat for some reason that day. And the kids were just bigger than us. And then we played the number 1 seed again. So we played the number 1 team twice in our 4-game losing streak. And then we played the team that beat the number 1 team. So, and we were we scored on all these teams. Scoring is not our issue. That's the defense. And maybe that's the difference between 6, 7, graders and 8th graders is really the defense, because they're a little bit faster, they're a little bit stronger, a little bit taller, a little bit more mature, and that was just the edge that our defense just couldn't keep up with them. And it's hard, and honestly it's hard to practice defense unless you're playing another team. I mean, I try to do drills and stuff in practice, but there's 6 or 7 kids show up to practice, and it's just like, so those kids have gotten better for sure. The kids that don't show up, I just have to kind of rely on their natural ability. And when you're playing flag football, it's grabbing a flag, it's guarding someone, making sure they reject the ball, which is at this level it's difficult, especially against these 8th graders. So I'm really curious to see how we stand up against, this is by far the best 6-7 team. They're undefeated. They've got 5 8th graders for whatever reason. It's ridiculous, but they've got 4 players that are good, and our defense is what's going to win that game. Our offense will score, I have no doubt about that. It's just that defense stopping them. And so here we go, week and a half till that happens. But I'm heading into a meeting today, production/sales meeting. We do this once a week just to go over things that were sold, issues that we're running into on the job sites. Gives the really trains the sales guys, and these are just my young guys come to these meetings. I see them more as the future of the company, bringing these young guys in and training them. Both of them are turning out to be really good at what they do. Very personable guys, very competitive. They're competitive with each other, which is cool. And in the construction business and the remodeling industry, there's always this headbutting between production and sales. Always. The production guys basically have to live up to the expectations that the sales guys make. And what sales guys do a lot of times is overpromise, setting up our production team to underdeliver, and not just because of overpromising, but because of we'll call the handoff of the information. Sales guys are notoriously vague with the detail. So that's one thing you're constantly trying to work on them, is like, get this tuned in, guys. Like what I'm noticing with my son is he's selling a lot of jobs, good margins, good business, but we'll get the job back. And for example, yesterday we had a situation where they had a siding. It was a vinyl siding job, and they picked a certain color, and they were also doing trim and aluminum capping with the fascia, trim boards around the windows and everything. Well, it ends up that they don't make the same color of the trim as they do the siding, which to me is stupid. Why they wouldn't do that, because it just would make sense, because some people just want the whole house to match, but so now he's got to go back to the customer and see what they want to do, if they want to change out all colors of everything, or they want to pick a different color. I don't know. It just mucks things up, slows things down, complicates things, puts questions in the homeowners' minds of, why didn't you know this? But, simple mistake probably won't be made again by him. Somebody else will probably make it, but hopefully we can learn from it and cut a lot of that off. because it's like every product line that you offer. And the thing is, we do full exteriors, so there's a lot to what we do. But when you do full exteriors like we do, there's so many different products, and they're always updating and changing and discontinuing colors and styles and all kinds of things, and it's really hard to keep up with. I mean, I think when I was doing the training modules in Claude, there was 24 products, I think. It was something like that, 18 to 24 products that we were offering different things. So it's just, it can be a lot. So, and then, even like, here's an example, Andersen Windows. They've had this E-Series. The E-Series was a company called Eagle, made in Iowa, that was around since the 60s, I believe. It was the first aluminum-clad wood window ever made, even before Pella and any other manufacturer. And Andersen bought them, I think it was like 10 years ago, and they changed Eagle to E-Series, and they've been selling it ever since. Now, what Eagle was really known for is all the specialty stuff that it could do. Different wood species. Like, standard windows are mostly pine, but you could do oak, birch, I think, Douglas fir, mahogany. I mean, you could do all these crazy wood species, and you can only imagine the type of houses and the type of people that are buying mahogany interior windows. They would do staining the wood. They had exterior colors. The aluminum cladding on the exterior there's 50 plus colors. Plus, I think you could do a custom if you gave them a color swatch. They would make the trim coil for the exterior, I think. And then all kinds of hardware options and everything like that. Well, we met with our rep a couple weeks ago, and she's like, well, they're not going to discontinue the E-Series. They're changing it. They're going to limit it down to like 10 exterior colors. They're going to limit it down to only pine. They're going to limit down the hardware options. Really neuter the whole E-Series. And then they're going to position it to where it fits under their A-Series. Their A-Series is like the Andersen, architectural high-end window that has all those options too. Except it doesn't have the aluminum cladding on the exterior. It has the, I think it's Fibrex or vinyl. It's either whatever. It's capped on the outside, but it's not aluminum. So it's just interesting. And then they're going to change the name of the E to the 500. So then they'll have 100 series, which competes with the vinyl window. They have the 200 series, which is like new construction windows. They've got the 400 series, which is like their bread and butter, their workhorse window, the most sold window in the world, the 400 series. Then they'll have the 500 series, which is going to be like a semi-custom, I guess, but have the aluminum cladding for people that like the aluminum cladding and not the vinyl exterior type product. And then I guess they're going to talk about making the A-Series into the 600 series. So they'll have their whole series. Some marketing genius came up with the numbers, maybe to make things easier or whatever. So just thinking about the product lines and just the Andersen windows and the things that change and evolve, and they added in the 100 series black. That was a big thing. And then the 100 series, which competes with the vinyl windows, they made, they used to only have a single hung. So the way a double hung works is there's two sashes. They go up and down. The bottom one opens up, the top one opens down, so you can vent it. But with the single hung, only the bottom sash goes up and down to open it, and the top sash is stationary. Which, energy-wise, is a little bit better because no air can get through the around the sashes. But, you know, if you're going against a vinyl window, or let's say a Renewal by Andersen window, you know, they're giving you a double hung, and that's just an extra feature that people will probably rarely use, but they really think they need it. Like, they sell them on the fact that they get night latches so they can lower the thing, and they can leave it open so they can get air in. They can take it down and open it in to clean it, which, you know, I guess if you clean your windows, that it is convenient. But so the 100 series for years only came in a single hung, and I think that was so it didn't compete with the Andersen Renewal, which is the same material in the frame. And then recently, a couple months ago, they did release the double hung in the 100 series. So that's just an addition that you have to keep track of. But there was word of it for months before it actually happened, so, you know, you're out there selling and you know it's coming, but, you know, you're juggling all these things. And that's just one of the 18 to 24 products that we're offering. And, you know, then you talk about doors. Doors are just such a pain in the butt, but because there's so many options, and homeowners get the catalog, and there's just too much to choose from. Different materials, you can do fiberglass or steel, or even Andersen has real wood doors. You can do different hardware, you know, 20 different hardwares, handles and blocks. You can do different colors, you can do different textures, you could do a stained, like a look that makes it look like a wood grain. You can do a smooth. There's hundreds of colors basically, because they paint it, so they can paint it whatever color. And then there's glass options where you can go different sizes of glass, different shapes of glass, different, you know, how much of the door frame is glass. You can change all that. And then there's glass options. You can get, you know, raindrop glass where you can't see through it. You can get different patterns. You can get, you know, look like stained glass looks, or you can get clear glass, or you can, I mean, it's just literally thousands of combinations, and homeowners, sales guys don't like dealing with it because there's a lot to choose from, and if the homeowner can't decide, it really slows the process down. But then we have a situation now where the homeowners ordered a door, signed off on the door. Now they're saying that the door is the wrong color, it's the wrong glass size, and it's a beveled like design in it, and they wanted like a missionary style where it's like flat. And the thing is like the picture that they signed came from the manufacturer as a confirmation, and it does have the flat thing on there, but everything else, the color and the glass, is wrong. So it's like 2 out of 3 of the things they're saying is wrong was right on the thing that they signed, but one thing was wrong. So literally months we've been going back and forth with these people. They've talked to everybody. Now they want to talk to the owner, and you know what that means, don't you? We want something for free. So that's what we got. All right, well, have a good day. It's gonna be a great week. Feels like Monday, but it's actually Wednesday, and we'll talk to you later.